As we delve into the narrative of the Greys, we must journey far beyond our Earth, venturing into the far reaches of the cosmos. Our destination? Zeta Reticuli, a binary star system hidden deep within the southern celestial hemisphere. This system, located approximately 39 light-years away from our own solar system, is composed of two wide-set stars, Zeta 1 and Zeta 2, floating in an eternal cosmic dance. This seemingly ordinary star system gained unprecedented fame within the UFO community due to a singular event in 1961. Known as the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, it became a beacon of fascination for UFOologists and paved the way for many discussions about extraterrestrial life. The protagonists of the story, Betty and Barney Hill, were an American couple whose ordinary life was upended by an extraordinary claim that they had been abducted by beings not of this world. Under hypnosis, they described their captors with striking details, crafting an image that closely mirrors what we now refer to as the Greys. In this deep state of subconscious recall, Betty Hill illustrated a star map. Upon examination, some researchers, like Marjorie Fish, suggested it closely corresponded with Zeta Reticuli, thereby establishing a firm association between this star system and the Greys in the annals of UFO lore. The Greys themselves have permeated our cultural and media landscape, frequently depicted as humanoid figures, standing tall with elongated heads and distinctive gray skin. Their most striking feature, often captured with uncanny detail in various accounts, are their large, almond-shaped eyes, usually black, devoid of white or irises, giving them an eeriness that both unsettles and fascinates. This inscrutable gaze is said to hold the depth of intelligence, underlining the purported advanced cognitive abilities of the Greys. The fascination surrounding the Greys has escalated over the recent years, especially fueled by the synchrony of their physical descriptions across abduction accounts. We will now head back to the past, to some of the earliest encounters and depictions of these extraterrestrial beings. Let's begin. We're visiting the indigenous cultures of North America and their captivating folklore. Among them, the Hopi tribe from Arizona stand out with their intricate spiritual cosmology. That includes entities known as Kachinas, believed to be spirits or personifications of nature originating from the sky. In Book of the Hopi, a comprehensive work on Hopi myths and traditions by Frank Waters, the Kachinas are depicted in a manner strikingly similar to the modern-day depiction of the Greys. Waters vividly describes them, saying, "These were the Kachinas, who dwelt in the starry mansions of the sky. Their heads were large and indicated knowledge and maturity. Their eyes were deep set and mirrored the vast understanding and wisdom of the universe. Their entire being radiated an aura of sanctity, which was coupled with an overwhelming, irresistible power," unquote, as documented in Book of the Hopi. Now, let's dive deeper into the lore of the Ant People, a cornerstone of Hopi mythology, who bear an uncanny resemblance to the contemporary image of the Greys. The Ant People, or Anu Sinom, as the Hopi people call them, are portrayed as industrious, generous beings, playing a critical role during the cataclysms of the First and Second Worlds, periods in Hopi mythology representing distinct cycles or epochs of time. In the Hopi sacred narratives, when the world was devastated first by fire and then by ice, the Ant People were the saviors of humanity. They offered the Hopi refuge in their vast, intricate subterranean dwellings, described as ant-like tunnels and caves. There, they taught the Hopi the virtues of food storage, as seen in the habits of ants, imparting critical survival skills during these periods of devastation. Interestingly, the depictions of the ant people in Hopi rock carvings or petroglyphs portray them with thin, elongated bodies and heads, characteristics reminiscent of descriptions we often hear about the Greys. Some even suggest that these depictions indicate that the ant people wore some sort of protective suit, adding fuel to theories that link them with extraterrestrial entities. Frank Waters, in his book of the Hopi, recounts these narratives in depth, giving us invaluable insights into the Hopi's interactions with these intriguing beings. However, while these narratives parallel aspects of contemporary ET and UFO accounts, it's still vital to remember that they belong to the sacred realm of Hopi spiritual tradition. Yet these ancient stories of the ant people, passed down over generations, continue to inspire a sense of wonder and spark our imagination about the potential connections between ancient civilizations and extraterrestrial life. They represent an enduring mystery, a bridge between our past and the infinite possibilities of the universe. Transitioning to the northeastern part of North America, the Iroquois Confederacy tells a compelling tale of the Sky Woman, a celestial being who fell to Earth from the outer realms. The Sky Woman, also known as Awinhai or Atahensik, in the Iroquois culture, is an integral part of the Iroquois creation story, which is a rich and fascinating narrative in itself. In the narrative, the Sky Woman falls from the celestial world through a hole made by a tree's uprooting. As she falls, water-dwelling animals witness her descent and work together to create land for her to rest upon, forming the earth as we now know it. Now, the Sky Woman's physical description is not thoroughly detailed in these traditional stories. She's usually referred to as a divine or celestial woman, an ancestor of human beings, without an explicit connection to the gray alien visual. The emphasis in the Iroquois culture is more on her role in creation, her connection to nature, and the moral lessons that her story imports. However, as an example of a powerful figure descending from the sky and directly impacting human evolution, the Sky Woman story bears thematic similarities to some of the extraterrestrial narratives. These ancestral stories, while part of distinct cultural and spiritual contexts, exhibit intriguing parallels with our present-day ET narratives. Australian Aboriginal lore. Let's venture now to the other side of the world, to the Australian continent. Here, the Aboriginal people hold a rich lore of ancient tales that echo modern descriptions of the Greys. One such tale tells of the Wanjinas, powerful cloud and rain spirits who descended from the Milky Way. Considered creators and sustainers of life, the Wanjinas carry many characteristics that closely resemble modern interpretations of the Greys. Aboriginal art, some of which is thought to date back over 20,000 years, often features the Wanjinas. These beings are depicted as large, haloed heads with vast eye-like shapes devoid of pupils. Their bodies are either missing or minimized, further emphasizing their large, round faces, a depiction bearing a striking resemblance to the Greys. But the Wanjinas aren't just static figures of the past. They are deeply rooted in the living tradition of the Aboriginal people. The Wanjinas are revered and continue to be honored in ceremonies and with fresh layers of paintings. Their images are repainted to ensure the continuity of the cycles of life, rain, and fertility. Anthropologist A.P. Elkin, in his exploration of Aboriginal culture and spirituality, provides a detailed account of Wandjina lore. His writings draw compelling parallels between these ancestral beings and the extraterrestrial encounters reported in the modern age. Elkin's works, particularly the Australian Aborigines, How to Understand Them, delve deep into the practices and beliefs that support the stories of the Wandjinas. In addition to the Wandjinas, there are also intriguing Aboriginal tales of the Min lights, mysterious, luminescent phenomena often attributed to spirit beings. Like the stories of UFO sightings, these accounts add to the tapestry of potential encounters with extraterrestrial beings, further deepening the connection between the Greys and the ancient lore of the Aboriginal Australians. As we explore these narratives, we see the interconnectedness of ancient lore and modern encounters, giving us a more comprehensive view of the long-standing human fascination with extraterrestrial life. The stories of the Wandjinas and Min lights remind us of our ancient past, while also making us question what lies beyond the stars in our future. The Sasani, described as a hybrid species developed from the Greys and humans, the Sasani present a fascinating chapter in the narrative of potential extraterrestrial life. The notion of the Sasani first gained traction through channels such as Daryl Anka, who claims to communicate with a Sasani being named Bashar. In his book, Quest for Truth, 100 Insights That Could Change Your Life, Anka shares the teachings of Bashar and delves into the origin, purpose, and nature of the Sasani. Anka describes the Sasani as a benevolent race of beings who have transcended the physical plane, possessing advanced physical abilities. They are said to exist in a parallel reality or dimension, which allows them to communicate across dimensions and influence our reality subtly. According to the narrative provided by Bashar, the Sasani are a creation of the Greys, themselves a species facing extinction due to their over-reliance on genetic engineering and cloning. The Greys, lacking in genetic variation and facing a reproductive crisis, allegedly traveled back in time and across dimensions to interact with humans. From this interaction, the Sasani were born, a hybrid species possessing the best traits of both their parent races. Bashar, through Anka, describes the Sasani as humanoid, about 5 feet tall, with smooth, pale skin. They possess a profound understanding of energy and its manipulation, living in a society that seamlessly blends spirituality and technology. Their civilization is said to be balanced and harmonious, free of conflict and disease. As for their purpose and content in humanity, the Sasani, through Bashar, state that they wish to help us navigate our spiritual and societal evolution. They see humanity at a critical juncture, one that could lead to a future similar to the Greys if not handled with care. While the story of the Sasani is a complex tapestry weaving elements of time travel, interdimensional communication, and genetic manipulation, it fits into our exploration of the human alien narrative. It pushes the boundaries of our understanding of existence and raises fascinating questions about the potential interconnections between various forms of life in the universe. Arcturians, the sage species of the Milky Way. As we land upon the star Arcturus, the home of an advanced and ancient civilization, the Arcturians. These beings are considered amongst the most advanced and wise races that is believed to inhabit the Milky Way. Physically, they are described as humanoid, standing about 5 feet tall, with green skin and large almond-shaped eyes that can seemingly peer into your soul. but their true strength lies not in their physical form, but in their profound mental and spiritual prowess. Author Edgar Cayce, in his readings, described the Arcturians as the most enlightened beings, stating, "In the constellation of Arcturus, entities have gained the higher realms of activity by first applying, then appreciating, then adhering to the laws of love. Their highly developed mental and spiritual abilities are also beautifully captured by Patricia Pereira in her work, Arcturian Songs of the Masters of Light, Arcturian Star Chronicles, Volume 1. Pereira provides channel messages from the Arcturians, where they introduce themselves as peace-loving entities, keen on assisting humanity in our spiritual evolution. She quotes, "We are the Arcturians and we come in peace, bearing the reflection of the love/light of the one creator." Unquote. Not only are they mentally and spiritually advanced, but the Arcturians are also believed to possess unimaginably advanced technology. According to Norma Milanovic in her book, We, the Arcturians, this technology is both powered by and serves their advanced spiritual development. In her words, the technology of Arcturus synchronizes with their superior spiritual ability. They've constructed a society that we might consider utopian, free from conflict or competition. They work harmoniously for the collective good. This notion of unity and harmony in Arcturian society is echoed by Milanovic, who wrote, "The collective of Arcturus, the group mind, functions only in the vibration of love." Norma Milanovic, We, the Arcturians. Some people report contact experiences with the Arcturians during meditations or dreams, or even encounters with their starships, which are described as colossal, crystal-like structures. The Arcturian narrative, with all its philosophical and metaphysical complexity, offers a unique lens to ponder our place in the cosmos. Now, I would really love to know if these beings are real or not. With everything going on lately, with the government admitting to knowledge of UFOs, even high-level officials turning whistleblowers, it's hard to know what's really true. But when compared to consistent images of the Greys throughout history, it seems we have no choice but to approach these topics with both an open mind and healthy skepticism. So, today we've talked about some of the many origins of the Greys, from the Betty and Barney Hill abduction in 1961 that started this entire modern era rolling, or 20,000-year-old cave paintings from the Australian Aborigines, saucer-shaped vehicles of the Greys, their human hybrids, the Sasani, or the crystal-like spaceships of the Arcturians. I have definitely walked away from this knowing more about the lore regarding UFOs. Now, whether this lore actually turns out to be true or not, I just want to say that I would not be surprised if it is. So, thank you for joining me for today's video. Stay tuned for more, and be safe.